Hello guys, AKW Blaze91 here. Welcome to part 2 of my PlayStation 1 collection. And as you can see here, I just retidied up all the PlayStation games that just fallen. Some of which are just categorized in a different order, in just a random order, so whenever. Now we're just getting on to the third pile in the PlayStation collection, and we still got quite a couple here that we want to do at the moment. So, let's get down to SimCity 2000. Perhaps the worst SimCity 2000 port, console port. It's so slow and sluggish, it takes a long time to reload, and it often lags too much as well, as a result. Definitely not a version of SimCity 2000 to play. I recommend the PC. Soviet Strike. A very poor flying game, which I have no idea how you play it and what you're supposed to do in it. Can't even get past the first stage. Star Wars Masters of Teras, a very disastrous fighting game. Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, pretty fun game, just hard. Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace. Very poor action game based on the first episode of Star Wars universe. And also everybody hates this Jar Jar Binks character. Alright, let's move these aside here. I'm actually going to put the camera down so I can get the third pile easier. Hang on, just a little bit. Now we're on to the next. Syphon Filter, Syphon Filter 2, and Syphon Filter 3. All three of these games play exactly the same, but there's minor differences. For example, just a storyline. All three of these games are not bad, are great. The original one's great. Second one, it kind of has a bit of a weak story. The third game's more like just an expansion or something than a sequel, according to GameSpot. But other than that, I would still think the original one is still the best. So, I went to the pile here. These two over there. Right. Tekken 3, which was one of my very first PlayStation games I ever bought. Tekken 2, pretty much the same as Tekken 3. But this one is before it. As I should have said, never mind. But I really love Tekken. I really like Tekken 2 and 3. They're both excellent games. But Tekken 3 is still one of the best in my opinion. The FIFA Premier League Football Manager 2000. I don't play this one. I don't play football games. The Lost World Jurassic Park. It's a very poor platformer. Really nothing special about this one. I prefer the arcade version by Sega. The Simpsons Wrestling. There's simply no wrestling involved. It's just a button masher. That's what it is. It's just a button masher. It's just a button masher with no wrestling involved. 007, The World Is Not Enough. That's what it's labeled. It's an alright shoot 'em up game, I guess. Theme Hospital, PS version. Quite good, more reasonable. Just a shame there's no mouse support. And now you got the Tomb Raider games. I'm just gonna pull each one of them off at random. There's the original Tomb Raider, which was great. Tomb Raider 2, which is excellent. Don't see what's with the reviews of it in GameSpot. Tomb Raider 3, The Adventures of Lara Croft. alright, just a camera. Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation, which is the fourth one in the series, and Tomb Raider Chronicles, which is just not very interesting, and which is pretty much just the same as all the others. It's not very, but it's where the series has really gone to a downhill. The series kind of went downhill until the remake, until the reboot, and this year. 007 Tomorrow Never Dies. Really not an impressive first-person shoot 'em up. Not as good. Not very good. Warzone 2100. Alright, I guess. WCW Nitro. So god-awful. And Worms, which is pretty awesome. Which is an awesome game. And now we got... that's that kind of pile. And now we got that pile done and dusted with. But I'll show off in this amount more extra puzzle before I tidy up and show off the remaining other games I'm missing. Right, anyway. WWF Attitude. This is a pretty fun wrestling game. Probably better than all I once have seen. And it's XCom Enemy Unknown for the PlayStation, which is a brilliant conversion of the PC game of the same name. But this is one of those sort of games where they kind of play with the developers kind of play with the titles. They couldn't give it the same title as it was titled in the PC, which was I think it was UFO Enemy Unknown, but I believe it was called XCom Enemy Unknown in America or something. And now we're on to the light gun games that I've got. And trust me, I've got loads. But I'm going to show off with the one that's in here. We got Point Blank 1 and Ghoul Panic. I had the boxes for them, but unfortunately when I was reorganizing these games, I dropped the boxes accidentally. But that means both of the boxes are pretty much just got damaged, and I had to throw them away. I found the instruction booklet for Point Blank, but for Ghoul Panic, I really do not know. I really don't know how the instructions got lost. I don't know, it was just me being careless or something. Anyway, let's get on with the liking games. Resident Evil Survivor, terrible, a terrible Resident Evil shoot 'em up game. Rescue Shot, short, but it can be it's entertaining for the kids to see. Hard Trilogy, which is an excellent game. Hard Trilogy 2, which is alright. The sharpshooter stages are fine, but the rest of the other games is just not right. But there's the other modes on it, like the first person action and the driving are just terrible. Oh, there's two non-liking games there that got messed up. Oh yeah, that's because I was storing them. Anyway, these are Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. Purely one of the worst fighting games ever made. And Final Bout is pretty much just the same terrible game, just in 3D. And it has Shaq Fu-like controls. They're just so god-awful. If you want to know what Shaq Fu is, you're better off not freaking knowing. Judge Dredd, which is a disaster. Area 51, which is one of my personal favorite liking games. Extreme Ghostbusters: The Ultimate Invasion, so terrible. Gunfighter: The Legend of Jesse James, which is pretty much just a simple Time Crisis clone. Speaking of which, here is Time Crisis, which my brother got with the light gun controller. Time Crisis Project Titan. Lethal Enforcer 1 and 2, which basically combines both Lethal Enforcer games. And lastly, I have Point Blank 2 and Point Blank 3. So that's pretty much all my entire PlayStation 1 games I've gotten so far. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon.